Welcome to Commander Tilt. My name is Clark. Just a little bit about my channel. I do Commander gameplay videos, and in this new series that I just kind of fell into, I decided instead of doing a full bracket, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a 4-player Commander game, and then the winner of that game is going to move on to the next game, and then I'll do another 4-player game, and the winner of that game will go on to the next 4-player game, and eventually I may end up with several carryover winners, and then I could do like a best of. But in the meantime, that kind of solves a problem that I've always had with my channel, and that is that if you've watched my previous videos when I've got a full bracket going, if you cut in right in the middle, you can already see who won the first round, because the fingernails themselves will show, oh yeah, the red deck and the blue deck are in the semifinals, so you know the red deck won in the first round and the blue deck won in the first round. You see what I'm saying? So by doing that, I can make the fingernail, and if you've clicked on this video, you've already seen the fingernail. I'm going to put like a black question mark on who is the fourth deck, and that way, if you watch the previous video, you know who that deck's going to be. But if you didn't watch it, you're not spoiled to know who won the last game. I guess you are spoiled if you watch this video before you watch the previous one. So I guess spoiler warnings. Anyway, so we're gonna do a 4-player game today, and we're gonna take the winner of my last video and then put it against 3 different decks. The decks I'm featuring today, of course, the winner of the last video, and then I've got my mono white Oyobi who splits the heavens deck. I've had that deck for a while. I built it as a challenge to myself to build a mono white deck. I thought it would be fun. And then the second deck, really the first other deck that I picked to go in there, I got Minsc Beloved Ranger, which I don't think he's really all that beloved, but I wanted to build a deck around it, kind of see how his mechanic worked. So I built a Minsc and Boo deck, so to speak. Because if you've read the card, Boo comes out every time Minsc comes out. So I built that deck, and my goal when I was building that deck is to put as many of those Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms cards into the deck, because I thought that would be really fun for a chance for me to play all those new cards. And then the fourth deck, I picked it mainly because, the first... Well, I guess 3 of those decks were really kind of centered on the combat step, so I wanted one deck that did not really worry that much about the combat step, so I picked my Skeleton Ship deck. It's a Dimir deck that I've had around for about a year now, and it's based around -1/-1 counters and Infect, so yeah, it is still combat, but it's just, it plays a lot differently than the standard, I'm gonna go at you with the biggest brute. In fact, it's really more about tapping and untapping and getting value out of that. So that's the 4 decks that we're playing today. I sure hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so here's the opening hands. Oyobi, who split the heavens, opening hand was Long Forgotten Go-High, Dreamstone, Hedron, Smothering Tithe, Karoo, and 3 Plains. Minsc Beloved Ranger's opening hand was Circle of the Moon Druid, Keen-Eared Sentry, Dawnbringer Cleric, Bull's Strength, Wall of Blossoms, Flower Flourish, and an Evolving Wilds. The Skeleton Ship's opening hand was Willbreaker, Ichor Rats, Crab Umbra, Dismal Backwater, and 3 Islands. The final deck, and, the spoiler warning's already out here, so Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro and Rayhan Last of the Abzan deck. Their opening hand was Vastwood Surge, Marionette Master, Auric Lore Mage, Mask of Riddles, Dismal Backwater, and an Island and a Swamp. Okay, we're going to roll to see who goes first. And it looks like Oyobi, who split the heavens, going to take the first turn. Okay, so Oyobi's going to start off by putting down a Plains and pass. Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro will draw. Play a Dismal Backwater, gaining a life. Comes into play tapped, so he'll pass the turn. Skeleton Ship will draw. Skeleton Ship will play, another Dismal Backwater, gaining a life and passing the turn. The Minsc and Boo deck will play an Evolving Wilds, then immediately crack it and search out for a forest and put it onto the battlefield tapped and pass the turn.
Oyobi's going to play Karoo. Has to bounce the plains back to his hand and pass the turn. The Sultai deck's going to play an island. And then tapping 2 mana, going to play Mask of Riddles and pass the turn. The pirate ship deck's going to play an island. And pass. Minsc and Boo is going to play Flower Flourish, picking the flower side, searching up basic plains, which then can go onto the battlefield as his land for turn. And pass the turn. Oyobi's going to untap. Put down a plains, of course. And then tapping 2 mana, we're going to play Long Forgotten Go High and pass the turn. Sultai deck's going to play a Forest. And then tapping 2 mana, we're going to play an Urborg Elf and pass the turn. Skeleton Ship's going to play another Island. Then tapping a single black mana, we're going to play the Tenacious Dead and pass the turn. Minsc and Boo is going to play Corrupted Crossroads. And then we're going to tap all of our mana. We have to take a damage from the Corrupted Crossroads and play Minsc, Beloved Ranger. And we get a Boo token for our effort there. And with Boo has haste, so we'll go ahead and attack for 1 damage. And we're going to attack the Oyobi deck. I think I just picked that randomly at that point. On Oyobi's turn, we're going to draw and put down a plains, and then tap 3 mana. We're going to play Smothering Tithe. Oh, I'm sorry. We're tapping 4 mana for Smothering Tithe. The Sultai deck will untap and draw. And then, of course, we're asking, hey, do you want to pay for Smothering Tithe? Sultai is not going to. Sultai is going to tap all of his mana, including that Urborg Elf, for a Vastwood Surge. Don't have enough mana to kick it, but we still get to search for forests. A forest and a swamp, that is. The swamp can go onto the battlefield. And then we'll pass. Do you want to pay for that? No. Treasure. Oyobi gets a treasure. The skeleton deck's going to play Ashiok Dream Render. And then moving to combat, we're going to swing with the Tenacious Dead at the Sultai deck for 1 damage. And pass. Minsc is going to untap and draw. We will not pay for that treasure, so Oyobi gets another treasure for Smothering Tithe. We'll play Wall of Blossoms, allowing us to draw a card, and Oyobi gets another treasure. We'll put down a forest as our land for turn, and then tapping 2 mana, which causes us to lose a life. We're going to play Targ Nar, Demon Fang Knoll. That's from the Forgotten Realms set. Moving to combat, we'll swing with Boo, but it's only going to hit for 1 damage, and I think we just arbitrarily picked the Sultai deck because of lack of blockers over there. We'll pass the turn. The Oyobi deck's going to untap. Put down a plains as our land for turn. Got 4 mana and 3 treasures there. So I think we're going to play Oyobi here. Yep, here's our commander, Oyobi, who split the heavens. 7 mana commander. The Sultai deck's going to untap. Take our draw. We will not pay for Smothering Tithe, so Oyobi gets another treasure. Next, we're going to pay the mana for Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro. We'll put down an island as our land for turn. And then we'll go ahead and tap the mana to equip the Mask of Riddles to Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro. And then we'll pass the turn. Yes. We're not going to pay for Smothering Tithe from the Skeleton Ship. Although we probably should have, because we left all our mana open. I remember I was really searching for another black at this point. All I had was 1 black and a bunch of blue mana. The Minsc deck gives another treasure to the Oyobi deck. And then we're going to tap the mana for a Trace of Abundance. We'll put it on the untapped Corrupted Crossroads there. And then we're going to tap 3 mana and pump that into Minsc's ability. So Boo gets pumped up by +3/+3. Now it's a 4/4 trample haste. So Boo and then Targnar are also going to swing out. Oh, yeah, Minsc is gonna move into combat too. And we're gonna swing at Skeleton Ship just kind of arbitrarily. Skeleton Ship will choose to block with the Tenacious Dead and then pay the mana to bring it back from the graveyard immediately. So we'd get a little bit of damage in there. The Oyobi deck's going to untap and draw. Oyobi's going to play a Plains as his land for turn. Next, Oyobi's going to spend 4 mana on Moonlit Strider. And because of Oyobi's trigger, we get a Spirit there. And then all of our spirits are pumped by that very first card we paid, that long forgotten Go High. Now we'll play a Spectral Gatekeeper, which gives us another spirit because of Oyobi's trigger. And we soul bond it. I'm pretty sure we're going to soul bond it directly to Oyobi there. Give some protection to Oyobi. Now moving to combat, we're going to swing with Oyobi. But it has Vigilance because of the Soul Bond, and the attack's going to go against Minsc. So Minsc is going to take 4 commander damage. Every little bit helps, huh? And we'll pass the turn. The Sultai deck's going to untap. We're going to take our draw here. Yeah, no, I'm not going to pay for that trigger, so we're going to get a treasure for Oyobi. We play Marionette Master, and then moving to combat, we'll swing with the Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro at Skeleton Ship because he's got no blockers now. And that allows us to draw a card off the Mask of Riddles, which gives a treasure to Oyobi. Skeleton Ship's going to untap and give a treasure to Oyobi because of Smothering Tithe. I should be saying, are you going to pay for that? Are you going to pay for that? But, I mean, I'm playing against myself here. We put down Skeleton Ship, and yay! Our getting Skeleton Ship is very important to that deck. Okay, so Minsc has untap and draw, and then has to give a treasure to Oyobi. And then we're going to go ahead and tap the mana for I think it's a, well, yeah, it's a Sunder Shaman. We had to take damage from the Corrupted Crossroads there. Now moving to combat, we're going to swing with the same 3 that we swung with last time, Boo, Minsc, and Targnar. And we're going to swing it at Ashiok instead, and that kills Ashiok. And then the Boo damage goes through, but we're going to go ahead and pump Boo just a little bit. And now I'll tap my creatures down and pass the turn. Oyobi's going to untap. It's funny to see the mono white deck with the most amount of mana on the table right now. There's another Plains for Oyobi. And then moving to combat right away, we're going to go ahead and swing a bunch of flying spirits, including our commander. And this time, I think I split the damage between all 3 opponents because I didn't have a real reason to go against any one. So you'll see 3 damage go against the top 2 guys, and then the commander damage goes against Minsc and Boo there. Then we're going to tap 6 mana for Dreamstone Hedron. And we'll pass the turn. The Sultai deck's going to untap. We will not pay for Smothering Tithe. We're going to play Sir Conrad the Grim. And then we're going to tap 3 more mana for Rayhan, Last of the Abzan. And put the counters on her. Now we're going to swing with Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro, and that's commander damage, and we're going to send it at Minsc and Boo here. Minsc is starting to look like the biggest problem on the table. I mean, Oyobi's got a lot of flyers, but Minsc has got that ability to pump up really big. I don't know. I think maybe Oyobi's the biggest threat with all of the treasures he's got. Certainly, Pirate Ship isn't doing anything. He doesn't play for Smothering Tithe because he's going to tap 3 mana for Freed from the Reel, which allows me to tap and untap the Skeleton Ship. And now we'll pass the turn. Minsc is going to untap and draw. Oh, we're not going to pay for Smothering Tithe, so Oyobi gets another treasure. Taking a look at our mana here. I think we're going to go ahead and swing with Sunder Shaman. Remember, Sunder Shaman can take out artifacts or enchantments, so the plan is to try to get rid of that Smothering Tithe. So Oyobi puts a blocker in front of the Sunder Shaman, but then combat trick here, we play Bull's Strength, which gives it +2/+2 and Trample. And the Trample is the key part here. It's going to bowl over that spirit and do direct damage to the player, which then allows the Sunder Shaman trigger to work, and I can get to destroy the Smothering Tithe. So that'll be the end of Smothering Tithe for the Oyobi player. Kind of did a favor to the whole table taking out that Smothering Tithe. Oyobi's going to untap. Now we have plenty of land and 8 treasures, it looks like, as well as that Dreamstone Hedron that taps for mana. So mana is still not a problem for this deck. In fact, drawing cards is. We'll play the Martyred Rusalka and gain another spirit. And then we'll play the Thunder Totem, even more mana. Moving to combat, we're going to fly our spirits over. And as revenge, we're going to swing all of these spirits at Minsc. And that's flying damage, so all of it gets through, including 4 commander damage from Oyobi. So there's the 4. We're going up to 12 commander damage on Oyobi, or on Minsc from Oyobi. Now with combat over, we're going to tap 2 more mana, it looks like, and then spend a couple treasures. And we're going to play March of Souls. I guess that's 5 total mana. March of Souls is going to kill every creature on the battlefield. But then we're going to go ahead and sacrifice the Moonlit Strider and give invulnerability to Oyobi. So then all of our big spirits die, and in exchange we get little spirits. But Oyobi gets to stay on the board, and all of our 1/1s are still pumped by the long-forgotten Go-High, so they're still 2/2 spirits, whereas everyone else is going to get 1/1 spirits. Now, here the Sultai player chooses an odd strategy. We put Sir Conrad in the grave first, but then because of Rayhan, we're able to put the +1/+1 counters over to Rayhan before Rayhan dies, and then when Rayhan dies, it allows her to put those +1/+1 counters onto the spirits that have already hit the battlefield. I don't know if that's exactly how that wording works, if the spirits hit simultaneously as the creatures are dying, or if they all come in as a bulk. So I just played it this way because it just made the most amount of sense. You know, one creature dies, it becomes a spirit. The next creature dies, it becomes a spirit. Here is the pirate skeleton ship losing his only 2 creatures, as well as his enchantment, and he gets 2 spirits for it. And then here's Minsc and Boo losing all of his creatures. He had 5 creatures, including a token, so he's going to get 5 spirits. But note, all of those spirits are smaller than Oyobi's spirits. So Oyobi pulled this move because things were getting crazy, and it's a good thing with the long forgotten Go-High. He's got the biggest board now. So Sultai, we didn't know, when Oyobi didn't know when Sultai was going to do this, that Sultai was going to end up with a 4/4 spirit and a 6/6 spirit, or whatever that is, because of the way Rayhan's... No, I guess it's a bunch of 1/1 spirits, but then a 6/6 spirit as well. So now we'll play Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro, and then we're going to attack with the 6/6 spirit. and Oyobi chump blocks that. Skeleton Ship doesn't even take a turn, just tap and go. Draw and go, I guess it's called. Minsc and Boo is going to untap. And then we have 5 spirits. We're going to swing with all 5 of our 1/1 spirits. And Oyobi says, well, I've got 2/2 spirits. I've got 3 of them, so I'm going to put those in front of 3 of those 5 spirits, forgetting that this is a combat trick deck. And choosing the 1, he chooses +1/+1 to all of his creatures, so all 3 of those spirits die, but they trade with the spirits, and 2 of them still get through for a total of 2 spirit damage to Oyobi. So not a great combat trick there. I guess that was 4 damage. And then looks like we're going to tap some mana for a Fertilid. Gets a couple +1/+1 encounters that can turn into land, and we'll pass the turn. Oyobi's going to untap and draw. And Oyobi's going to play a Myriad Landscape. And then tapping the mana, we're going to turn the Thunder Totem into a creature. And then it's a spirit creature, so it's also pumped by the Long Forgotten Go-High. And it flies. It's a flying statue. That makes a lot of sense. So now we're going to move to combat and swing both of our flyers at Minsc. And Minsc can't block any of it. So all of that damage gets through, leaving Minsc at 4 health. And then the Thunder Totem turns back into an artifact at the end of turn. The Sultai deck's going to untap. Sultai will draw. We're going to tap 3 mana for an Anna's Sanctuary. It's kind of a do-nothing enchantment. Next turn it does something pretty cool, but this turn it doesn't do anything. Put out a Tuskguard Captain. And then... yeah, we're going to swing with our 6/6 Spirit and all of our 1/1 spirits, as well as a Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro. All that damage heads towards Oyobi, and Oyobi doesn't have any kind of answer for that, so Oyobi's going to take all of that damage. I mean, it's only 5 or 6 in the air, and then 3 on the ground, so it's not a lot. And then put down a Forest as our land for turn and pass. Skeleton Ship has a turn so fast I blinked and missed it. Minsc is going to put down a Selesnya Sanctuary, and he's got to bounce a Forest back to his hand. And then we're going to tap a couple mana for a Keen-Eared Sentry. We'll take off a +1/+1 counter from that Fertilid and get a Mountain. And then we'll pass the turn. Oyobi's got 1 creature on the board now. A ton of mana, but just not enough card draw. We'll put down another Plains, and then we're going to tap 2 mana and turn that Myriad Landscape into a couple more Plains. Maybe should have done that at the end of last turn, but that's one of the problems with playing all my decks at once. We'll tap the mana for the Thunder Totem to turn into a creature again, and then we'll swing both of those at Minsc. Minsc will block with the 2 flying spirits against Oyobi. Or maybe if that's just 1 spirit. I forget now. And so then the Thunder Totem gets through for 3 damage. And at this point, Minsc feels like he's safe, but we're going to spend all our treasures for a Pierce Strider, and we're going to spend that 3 life and shoot it straight at Minsc as kind of retribution for getting rid of our Smothering Tithe. And we're going to pass the turn. The Sultai deck, remember I told you Anna's Sanctuary was a do-nothing enchantment? Well, a turn's gone by, nobody's done anything about that, so it's going to put 5 +1/+1 counters. I think it's just a temporary thing, but it turns my unblockable commander into a beat stick there. We'll spend the mana for a Sultai Soothsayer, which lets me put cards into the graveyard. At this point, it doesn't matter, though. We're going to swing our unblockable 6/6 and then the 6/6 Angel. And the rest of the angels are going to go actually at the pirate ship there. I'm sorry, those are spirits. So this is lethal for the Oyobi deck. And I'm just trying to calculate that out and make sure I did it right. I can't block Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro, so it's just automatic. And then the rest of the spirits are going to go towards Ghost Ship, and they just trade right there. Actually, they end up taking a little bit of damage off of that exchange. Now with only 2 decks left, and Ghost Ship has never got anything off the ground. Not much chance here for Ghost Ship. He'll put down a Demir Guildgate and tap the mana for a Willbreaker. Got a chance to come back, but it's just a blocker at this point. It's a great card, but it's just a blocker. The Sultai deck's going to spend the mana for Phantom Wings, making that Sultai Soothsayer fly, and that's enough for lethal. Send all of those creatures and all those flyers, and there's nothing that the pirate ship can do. And with that, Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro wins again.
Well, there you have it. I've got a victor again, and I did not expect the Ghost Rayhan deck to come out on top again. I'll tell a little story about the way that this game came to happen. I guess really more about the editing and final process. After I filmed it, I had a lot of second thoughts, like, gosh, why did the Oyobi deck go so hard against the Minsc deck? Why didn't it realize the risk of the Ghost deck killing him on that round? And then I went back and edited, and I was looking at like, well, actually, every decision I made kind of made sense. Oyobi was mad about the Minsc deck taking out his Smothering Tithe, and with 16 life, Oyobi probably didn't really expect to get knocked out in one round from the Ghost deck, so Oyobi was just thinking, I'm going to finish off this one opponent first if there's nothing else I can do, and hopefully live and kind of dominate the rest of the board. Nobody was worried about the Skeleton Ship deck. It was not getting its gameplay underway, and so that's how the game turned out. So the next step after I finish this video is I'm going to do another four deck battle, and we'll see Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro and Rayhan Last of the Abzan going in its 3rd battle in a row. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great day. I do have a Patreon page, and I would love it if you would visit my page and take a look at the rewards that are available. It would help me out a lot. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you hear about my latest videos. Have a great day.
My friend thinks he's really smart. He told me an onion is the only food that makes him cry. So I threw a coconut at his face.